Hello, my name is Laura and I like to craft stuff. And today I wanted to work with this fabric pack I got back in April. It is a Free Spirit fabric pack. It's called Tula Pink Besties. It's a fat quarter fabric pack with 22 pieces. And I want to use it. I'm super excited about this. This was kind of a splurge for me back in April, but I think it was worth it. I did go through my stash. I was waiting to use it because I wanted to get the perfect fabric for it. But, you know, try not to buy so much. So I went through my stash and I found this fabric. On camera, it's looking a lot more, I guess you can kind of see, it's much more blue in person. It's like a dark grayish blue. And I thought it would look really cute with this. There are a few fabrics in here that looked like had a similar color. This fabric in particular. So I think these two will go cute together. So I was looking for a 2-color pattern. And of course I was looking in Encyclopedia of Pieced Quilt Patterns by Barbara Brackman. And I heard a rumor there's another one coming out. So that's super exciting if it isn't already out. I really liked this pattern, this one right here, which is called 3 different names: X Qaurtet, Flying X, or Double Qaurtet. And so I kind of really wanted to do this one, but it calls for 3 colors. And so I pulled out some squares that had already been cut up because the pattern the 3rd color would be the squares in the corner. So I pulled out this fabric. They're leftover squares from the Contrary Wife quilt block, I think. And I feel like it goes both with this color and with any of these. So this will be the pinwheel in the center. This will be the background fabric. And this will be the corner. I am going to do, so the blocks are 4 inches. I need larger than that for my half square triangles so I can trim them down. I'm not sure how many 10-inch blocks I can get from this, so I want to open this up and see the fabrics and get started. I'm super excited. So as you watch here, me look at all the fabrics, I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who stuck around. I have had a bit of a hiatus. I actually filmed this before I took a break. I just never got around to editing it. I've been a little bit burnt out, and so I really needed some time to not have the pressure of that I put on myself, really. Of this channel is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I don't want to abandon this place entirely. I still have stuff I want to quilt. I just really needed a break from crafting in general. And so I kind of did that. I am planning on making videos again. It's just probably not going to be at the same schedule. I do have a whole bunch of quilts that have been quilted that I just need to have bindings put on. And so I'd like to do a trunk show or bed turning to show off all of my finished quilts, because there is quite a lot that have been quilted. So I am excited about that. And yeah, I guess just stay tuned in general on my channel if you want to. And we'll go ahead and get back into this particular quilt. Okay, I'm chiming back in because I discovered that some of these I don't think would be very good for a half square triangle, especially with the way that I do them, because I feel like it's going to cut off too much and they're too cute. Like, there are certain designs I don't mind, but this is very specific, and so like half of this, half of this would be weird. So I'm thinking, instead of using this as the corner piece, I cut these into 4-inch strips and then squares and do corners of these. Or I might even do like specific cuts so I can get the designs. Because look, it's got a little fire hydrant. How cute. So I think I'll keep these as a backup if I have more blocks that need stuff, but I think that's what I'm going to change it to. And then the rest will be half square triangles. So of course, because this was in a fabric pack for months, I needed to iron desperately to get rid of all of the creases, of course. I did keep to my word of fussy cutting to make sure that I got the animals and the animal faces, the dog faces, into the squares, the 4-inch squares for the corners. There were also some other animals, like this particular fabric, that I cut up for the corners. So I set aside all of the specific animal fabrics for the corners, and then there were the non-animal fabrics, and that I used for the rest of it. These fabrics were so stinking cute. And it worked out really well. So I just did 4-inch strips, and I tried to make sure that every time I did a strip, I centered it so that I could really get the object that I was trying to make sure was the center of attention. I wound up having a lot of leftover squares from that. It worked out really well. And they're so stinking cute. Look at that little... I think that's a Frenchie. Look at the little Frenchie. So yeah, 4-inch squares. And that seemed to work out pretty well, including with the other fabrics that had animals. Then I took my non-animal fabrics from the pack and did 10-inch squares. I like doing it this way. For half square triangles, it's so much faster. Here I am marking so that I make sure that my lines are straight. I draw a little line diagonally from corner to corner of all 4 of the corners of the square, and then I sew on either side of both of those lines. And that is just such a super fast way to get half square triangles. So thank you, Mardi, again. I appreciate the tip. And drawing the lines are also super helpful for me. So I was still doing that, and I'm still doing that. It's a good process. Here's what it looks like when it's finished. I like to cut across first and then split the half square triangles. I feel like it's easier. I don't know if you could try it the other way, I guess. I just feel like it would be more difficult to figure out where the middle is to make sure they're all even. I'm just going to rely, because I wind up trimming them down after this as well. We'll see, I guess, what the measurements were, because I haven't, what am I trimming down to? 4. I'm doing 4 inches, obviously. That makes sense. It's, like I said, I had made this months ago. So I'm watching the process along with you, because I don't remember exactly what I did. But I do like to trim in general down my half square triangles. It does make the quilt better. And the little tool that I have has a nice little divot that helps with that. So I wound up making a lot of blocks. And that I don't remember either. We'll have to count the final picture. But here I am laying it out. I did set aside and tried to group things into groups on what I think the fabrics should be together. I didn't want anything that was too similar, but I didn't want it to like not match. I'm sure it would have matched in any regard, but I generally kept warm tones with warm tones. And then I sewed them first in the first 2 rows, and then I sew the 2 together. And that's the final block. I do really like how this ultimately turned out, and these blocks were so fun to work with every step of the way. I just really liked the fabric. That was a good purchase. I love little fabric packs where I'm like really into it. And I was really into this fabric pack. As you can see, I'm doing another batch of ironing before I sew them all together. I don't show the layout process, but I did try to make sure that none of the fabrics were too similar next to each other. So there was a lot of rearranging. Ultimately, I did stop and count. I have 5 by 6 is the final layout, and I still have a lot of the fabric squares left, which is pretty nice. I can always use it for something else, and that's kind of what my goal is for future quilts, is to kind of use what I have. I'm sure there is a better way to do this looking at it from afar, but you know, this was the way that I chose to do it, and I think it worked out really well. I like how brightly colored this quilt is, and here we are at the finale, the final image. I really tried hard to make sure that all of the animals were facing the same direction when I was doing my quilt blocks, and then finally when I was putting them all together. I did have a few blocks that I ran out of one color, and I didn't have enough like for one block, but I still had leftovers in other scents. It's hard to explain how that worked out, but again, I'm really excited, and I love the way that this quilt turned out. It's super vibrant and colorful, and that's kind of my vibe. I do want to thank you again for joining me in another video, for sticking around on my channel. I hope that my slower schedule works for you guys if you want to stick around. I am hoping that this year I can do more crafting and more quilting. I just might not do full-size quilts. I think that was partially what was burning me out, even though I love them so much and I am so excited to have them on my bed. They take a lot of time, and I also work a full-time job, so it's been really hard to maintain. So thank you again. I hope that everybody has been enjoying their time the past few months. Hopefully you've been making lots of quilts, and I will see you in the next one. Like and subscribe if you want to. All right. Bye.